Hello, everyone. In this video, we will be discussing how to develop research questions for qualitative studies. When we talk about qualitative research, one of the most essential elements is the central question. So, the central question is the broad question that guides the entire study, and it gives it structure without restricting the researcher's flexibility to explore. Now, unlike quantitative research where we have tightly focused questions or hypotheses, a qualitative central question is intentionally broad. It's designed to open up the study to various perspectives and to capture the complexity of human experiences. For example, let's say we're studying the impact of remote work on employee well being. Okay, so instead of framing a specific hypothesis, our central question might be: how do employees experience well being while working remotely? So notice how broad this question is, right? It does not limit us to look at just one factor like stress or productivity. Instead, it invites us to explore well being in a holistic way. This could include mental health, work life balance, feelings of connection with colleagues, or even changes in daily routines. The central question allows us to see the topic from multiple angles and encourages the participants to share their experiences in their own words. The flexibility offered by a broad central question is a huge advantage in qualitative research. So, a broad central question allows us to follow new ideas or unexpected patterns that emerge during the study. For example, if we start interviewing employees about remote work and find that many are talking about their sense of isolation, we can adjust our approach to explore this topic more deeply. This flexibility isn't just useful, it's actually essential in qualitative research because human experiences are complex and they're often unpredictable. A broad central question gives us the room to capture that complexity. To support the central question, we have sub questions that work hand in hand with the central question to provide focus while keeping the study flexible. You can think of them as ways to dive deeper into the main topic without shifting away from the core phenomena that we are exploring. For example, if we go back to our example a while ago about remote work and employee well-being, the question, how do employees experience well being while working remotely, is a broad question and it allows us to capture a range of experiences, as mentioned. But with sub questions, we can explore specific aspects of well being that might be also important. So, a sub question could be: how does remote work impact employees' sense of work life balance? So in this example or in this sub question, we're narrowing down to one specific area of well-being, which is work-life balance, without losing sight of the main theme. This approach lets us uncover specific insights within the broader topic. So sub questions allow us to ask about unique angles or factors that might influence the central phenomena. The value of sub-questions lies in their ability to add depth and specificity to the research. They help us to get a richer, multi layered picture of the central phenomena by zooming in on areas that are significant without getting sidetracked from the main focus. And this balance is important because it lets us understand not just the big picture of the central question, but also the finer details that make up that picture. So, sub questions are, in essence, tools that guide us to a more comprehensive understanding of the primary topic. Writing good qualitative research questions is important because they set the foundation for exploring the complicated real world experiences. So, clear, focused questions guide the study's direction and they allow for rich, meaningful insights to be uncovered. And so, well crafted research questions also ensure flexibility. They also enable the researcher to capture participants' genuine perspectives and uncover the surprising themes naturally. When writing qualitative research questions, an important guideline is to limit the central question to just one or two. Okay, so this keeps the study focused and clear, and it allows us to explore the main topic in depth rather than scattering our attention across too many areas. So, for example, having one central question like how do employees experience well being while working remotely keeps our focus broad enough to allow flexibility, yet specific enough to maintain a clear direction. If we added multiple central questions, we might start straying or getting lost into different unrelated topics like productivity or technical challenges, and this can dilute the richness of our exploration into well being. So, that is actually the disadvantage of having more than two central questions, or basically too many central questions. So, sticking to one or two just makes it easier for respondents to also answer more thoughtfully and for us as researchers to gather and analyze meaningful data. This also ensures that we capture the complexity of the topic without overwhelming ourselves or our audience in multiple subtopics. So, in short, a limited number of central questions keeps the study streamlined and it maintains a deep and consistent focus on the core phenomena. And that sets up the study for impactful and clear insights. Another key guideline in crafting qualitative research questions is to align them with the chosen qualitative approach. So, different qualitative methods like ethnography, grounded theory, or case studies are each designed to explore different types of questions. So, matching your questions to the method is important for consistency and coherence. For example, if we're using ethnography to study remote work, our central question might be something like how do employees create a work life balance culture in remote settings? Right? So, ethnography focuses on cultural behaviors and shared experiences. So, this question suits the method by exploring how groups of employees adapt their routines and their values. On the other hand, if we're using grounded theory, which aims to build a theory from participants' perspectives, a question like what processes do employees use to manage stress while working remotely would be more suitable. Because in here, we're looking for patterns and processes that could form the basis of a new theory about stress management. It's also helpful to start our central question with what or how. Now, these open ended words encourage participants to share detailed answers, and this fosters deeper exploration and allowing insights to emerge more naturally from the participants. For example, instead of asking, do employees feel isolated while working remotely, which is an example of a question that could be limiting responses to a simple yes or no, we can ask instead, how do employees experience isolation in remote work settings? So, by using how, we're inviting participants to describe their experiences in their own words, and this leads to richer, more nuanced data. Using what or how in our questions helps us uncover um, the complicated thoughts, the experiences, the deep seated experiences in our participants, and it allows us to extract depth from their answers, aligning well with the exploratory nature of the qualitative research. So these questions guide participants to provide insights that might not surface if you ask limited, limiting or restrictive questions, and making our study more comprehensive and insightful. It is also essential if you focus on a single phenomena. So, by concentrating on just one concept, we can dive deeper and gain more thorough understanding of it rather than spreading our attention across multiple topics, as we have mentioned a while ago. So, focusing on a single phenomenon not only clarifies our study, but it also makes it more meaningful by allowing us to capture the richness of one concept and be able to get deeper and more valuable findings. Strong qualitative research questions also incorporate exploratory verbs like explore, describe, or understand. So these words signal an open ended approach, which is important in order to be able to catch deeper insights. So using exploratory verbs makes it clear that our goal is to learn from our participants rather than confirm a specific assumption as we would typically do with quantitative research. So instead of saying, why do remote employees feel stressed? We might ask, how do remote employees experience stress? Or what factors influence stress levels among remote employees? Words like experience and influence allow flexibility, encouraging participants to share a range of insights without feeling restricted. So, exploratory verbs are particularly valuable because they align with the flexible design of qualitative research, where unexpected themes can emerge naturally. So, they allow us to listen actively and adjust our focus based on participants' responses rather than guiding them toward a certain direction. So, qualitative research questions should also be adaptive, meaning we should be prepared for questions to evolve as the study progresses. So, unlike quantitative research where questions are fixed, okay, um, qualitative research is actually more flexible and open to change. And this adaptability allows us to follow emerging insights and make our study more responsive to real experiences. So, for instance, as we start interviewing participants, we might notice that many are talking about social isolation as a major challenge in response to feelings of remote work stress. Based on this new insight, we might adapt our questions to focus more specifically on how social isolation affects well being in remote settings. By allowing questions to evolve, we're able to follow participants' lived experiences more closely, allowing us to get a more accurate picture of the topic. And this adaptability is truly at the heart of qualitative research because it helps us to stay open to discovering new angles and insights that can make our study even more impactful. Now, it's also important to keep questions open ended and allow participants' perspectives to shape the findings rather than anchoring them on existing literature or theories. This open ended approach is central because it encourages responses that reflect real. Real and lived thoughts or feelings rather than fitting into preconceived frameworks. Finally, it is also highly recommended that you specify the participants and the research site. So, this clarity is important because it lets readers know exactly who is being studied and where. And this adds transparency and focus to the research. Instead of asking, um, for example, how do employees experience remote work, you can be a little more specific and ask, how do employees in tech startups experience remote work? So, framing it this way clarifies that our participants are employees in tech startups, and this sets certain expectations for context and industry relevance. And so, this added detail is useful because experiences of remote work may actually be different. They may vary widely across different industries. And so, narrowing the focus helps ensure that our findings are specific and meaningful to that particular group of people coming from that particular industry. So, specifying participants and the research site is a small but a very important step in qualitative research that truly enhances the study's precision. It tells readers who is involved and under what conditions, and it also ensures that the findings are accurate, contextually accurate, and meaningful.